I am super excited to try out this plugin. This is the Voxengo Stereo Touch. In case you didn't know, fun fact, the first plugin for me that I ever downloaded that was free was actually the Voxengo MSCD. It was the first ever free VST that I was like, wait, you can download this and it doesn't cost money? That's crazy, and that's actually what started this whole series of the free VST plugins detective, where I review, test out, and demonstrate various free VSTs that I basically find all over the internet, and obviously this entire month of free plugin February. So let's jump right into it. I love the MSCD. I've not tried this one out yet. Now, the Voxengo Stereo Touch is essentially a plugin that can turn any mono signal into stereo, just working that super simple. So I have this one sample from here. This is actually from the Commode vocal packer. I don't know if it's Commode or Commode. Not sure, but I'm just going to play it. Right? So now this is in stereo already. So what I'm going to do is put it in mono. Right? So I'm going to put it in mono and then kind of put it back to stereo in a weird way. So I'm going to turn this on. And I'm actually going to do, I don't think it has a graph here. So I'm going to do this actually. Kind of a little cool trick that a lot of times, especially when it comes to music production, as weird as it sounds, a lot of times people think, oh, well, obviously, it's based off what you're hearing. But sometimes having like a graph or a visual representation of the sound is actually super important. So I'm going to do this, right? So, as you can see, actually, I like the least adjust better in this case. Right, so super mono, right? Like zero any stereo width, or zero stereo width. Let's turn this on now. Right? Oh, excuse me. As you can already tell, this plugin is really cool, and what it does basically adds a subtle delay onto it that creates that stereo width element, right? So I can adjust it. So essentially what it does, and also there's different ways, and this can get way beyond the scope of this video, but there's different ways that you can basically turn a channel or a sound from mono into stereo. Remember that a lot of times you're not actually manipulating the sound itself. Or not necessarily the sample itself, but you're basically adding stuff onto the sound to put it into stereo. And in this case, it's basically almost making a delay onto it, but just subtle enough, or I can do it drastically, to create the stereo style effect, if that makes sense. So, as you can see, I have stereo width on it, but it's basically just a very subtle delay, as you can see. And I can add the gain onto it, which puts more width on it, or puts the makes the width a bit louder, obviously. Right, and then obviously if I do a drastic delay, now it's more of actually a delay itself. Now, one thing I do want to say, you could always actually do this with the delay setting here in Ableton, and I would just turn it to time and just make it super small, and that can also create the same effect, like... Actually, probably do... Right? I could do something like that, but obviously you can already hear it's manipulating it in a weird way, which is why I would 100% stick with the stereo touch by Voxengo, and there's two different delays. So we have that one obviously already on. Now it's put on delay 2. So I'm gonna see if I can turn... Trying to figure out which one each. This seems like more of a. So it almost seems this. So obviously different types of delays actually themselves. Actually, well, I'm gonna put this actually on 343. Maybe they are the same actually. Let me see. Right. Let's put this on. Turn this one off. So it seems a little quicker. So you could always add this too to maybe manipulate a little. Very subtle phaser effect too, and then also we can add in different things here. If you want to do some like post, filtering, but honestly, I probably wouldn't use these if you want me to be honest, or I can invert it too, that's kind of cool. I'd probably do something along these lines if I actually want to do some EQing, and this is why I always suggest a parallel process, because when I put this on, then this is now obviously, especially if I turn this up like a lot, for example, or make this pretty drastic. That way, and if I go, I can always do this, right? Like, say I only want the high. That way, the high end's all like the one being affected, right? If I do this, you notice that it looks like that, and this is why, again, visual representation of a sound is important. More stereo width, right? super useful. So I'm gonna give this one the perfect rating. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. It's an excellent plugin, although it seems kind of simple, like, oh, you're just adding a subtle delay onto a sample to turn it from mono to stereo. Sometimes that's what you want with a plugin. It does what it says it does.